Okay, so over the weekend, there was a shitstorm on Twitter, and I didn't really understand why everyone was talking about it. And I don't know how the hell our community got involved in it, but we did. I was doing some Twitter scrolling, and I saw this tweet from Leffen. I didn't even know what SBMM was. I found out later it means Skill Based Matchmaking, which to me, like, no context, no understanding whatsoever, sounds like a good thing. To me, that's defined as playing people of your skill level in games of competition. I don't necessarily mean like if you're a competitive player or whatever. I mean simply multiplayer games where you're playing against other humans. What's the game I play again? SSBM. I wish they were talking about that. It all started when I read Leffen's tweet where he says, in classic Leffen style, says, watching people argue that FPS players should in fact not play people who are as good as them, but people who are worse than them so they can stroke their own ego is so fucking pathetic. What's the joy in beating people up who play once every 2 weeks if you're playing this shit full time? I'll discuss that in a second. Let's just keep going. It's very obvious that content creators are trying to trick their audience that you should in fact not be okay with a system that makes for fair matches, and it should instead become a favor to them so they can make content easier. It's like watching poor people vote for Trump. Okay, Leffen, I think you lost me here. I think you lost me here. First of all, let's not compare this to poor people voting for Trump. It's a way different thing. Well, I mean, I see the similarity there, but that reminds me of that. Do you guys remember the worst tweet? Have you guys seen the worst tweet of all time? Oh, there we go. I found it. Okay. So this is back when they were talking about get like Nintendo marking people that have poor Wi-Fi so you know not to play them, or like they tell you if they're on Wi-Fi, right? So you could decide whether to play them or not. And this guy says, so all Wi-Fi warriors should suffer unfairly because of the possibility of being laggy. It's like saying all black people should suffer unfairly because of the possibility of some of them being criminal. Should we just segregate them too? By the way, I hope that the no context whatever doesn't just take me reading this out of context like I'm the one saying this. Well, you can't. You can't do it because I have the thing on the screen. So you can't catch me. You can't catch me on this one. All black people should suffer unfairly because of the possibility of some of them being criminal. So, I tried finding the counter argument. I tried looking. Okay, one of the places I went was Hitch Twitter, who is the guy that Leffen got in a huge argument with. So actually, let me find that. He posted something where I tried to look at his Twitter to understand what was happening, and it still didn't make sense to me. So let me find it. Hold up. Sheesh, bro, Leffen went for my throat. Yeah, I've been saying it forever. Arguing with Leffen on Twitter is like starting beef with Eminem back in the early 2000s. You just don't do it. Like, it doesn't matter if Leffen's right or wrong. A lot of the times he's right. You just don't do it. Like, unless you're ready to die on the hill that you're fighting for, you just don't do it. Yeah, right, he would murder me. That dude would argue with me about Samus. I'm closing Twitter. I'm not talking about it. I'm not going to argue with it. And I'm a Samus expert. I'm just staying the fuck out of it. I'm not going to argue with that. In-N-Out. I would argue with him about In-N-Out. I'd tell his ass, go back to Sweden with your sardines and your cheeses and keep In-N-Out out your mouth. Call of Duty doesn't have a ranked mode. They put it into casual. Wait a minute. What do you mean it doesn't have a ranked mode? Call of Duty has to have a ranked mode. Are you telling me that the only joy or the only entertainment they're going to get is just pub stomping? just beating down people way worse than them most of the time? Why wouldn't they want people around their skill? Oh, man. Oh, my brain hurts. Oh. Yeah, okay. Here we go. If you've never played an FPS, if you've never played FPS games, then it makes sense you think this way. So much different than a fighting game. You can casually play pickup basketball with people of all skill levels. You can't casually play tennis if the skill level is too different. Okay. I don't know if that's true, but what he's implying is, okay, I get this much, that I could hop into a game where a vast amount of knowledge does not completely ruin the game for the person with way less skill. If we were to say that this analogy works, doesn't it also work if everyone's kind of bad? Do you ever go into a pickup basketball game at the YMCA and then like all of your teammates are kind of trash and they're kind of the same skill level as you? Don't you still have a good time? And then if you're good at the game and you're playing with other people that are the same skill level as you, doesn't that also not ruin the experience? Doesn't it just make it great? Better? So, what's the problem? I don't get it. And this is no shade on Hitch. I like the guy. And I think the way that Leffen handled it was fucking terrible. But I just don't get it. Maybe when the YouTube video drops, I'll get like a bunch of COD bros in the chat telling me, number one, what's wrong with my opinion and why SBMM is terrible in shooters, and then also about how they're gonna have sex with my mom. Those are gonna be all the comments, and maybe I'll learn something there. So yeah, I have not seen a single good argument. SBMM killed Fortnite. SBMM killed Apex Legends. Heavy SBMM killed Call of Duty. This isn't a debate. SBMM kills games. Something tells me that's not a completely accurate tweet. It's too hard. I don't like it. Mom, I want to beat the noobs. Go bully a kid in school or something. Blur, if you got an argument, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Do you want to call me real quick and just give me like a really quick argument in favor of SBMM?
So here's the argument you would make. First of all, you wouldn't make it on a personal level. Like, because you just sound like a bitch if you just say, oh, I don't want to play good players, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But you would make it on like this macro level, right? And there's a lot of good evidence for this, that skill-based matchmaking is actually not good for fostering people to continue playing and want to continue grinding, because there is a lot of ladder anxiety, right? Like a large portion of why StarCraft declined is because its skill-based matchmaking was so accurate that like people were like, oh, I don't want to play because I feel like I'm not playing well today and I'm going to lower in rank, right? Huh. And also, like it's kind of depressing seeing yourself, let's say, stay in gold rank and like literally not go up for 3 years. It's like super depressing, right?
To just know that you are really that gold player. And
you literally have not gotten better. Yeah. Like if you like to fully understand that you have literally not gotten any better in 3 years after putting like thousands of more hours in, that sucks. And if worse, you go to silver. Like imagine you just get like that happens. And that's the thing, right? Like on like a macro level, like it's not necessarily true that system actually like grows your game, right? Like why do we think it grows your game? Because the games we're seeing succeed, like Fortnite, like trick you into believing you're good for the most part, right? Like, oh my God, I made top 10. Sure, I like haven't encountered another human being like this entire time, just because I happened to walk in like a line where none of the conflicts happened, right? Like I happened,
you just survived.
But I made top 10. You survived. I made top 10, right? Like, and Fortnite even includes bots that you're allowed. Like, there's literally fake players in those games now, right? To make you feel better. You're like, oh, I just killed someone, but you don't know that's actually a bot they put in just so bad people would feel good.
Yeah, that's pretty genius. Right? Yeah.
It is pretty genius, and like you look at the games that succeed, right? Like mobile games, or like that stuff sort of kind of matters. Like in League of Legends, like I just been playing so much League lately. Don't ask why. And a huge, not for me, but a huge thing that helps people is to blame their teammates. When they're allowed to blame their teammates, they feel better about themselves.
Right.
So they keep playing because they're like, I'm not bad, but they're bad.
But don't you get that in something like Call of Duty as well? Don't you get to still blame your teammates when you lose?
Yeah, maybe. But the thing is like, maybe that game, like there's a lot of games which, like when you take it to the high level, like they're just not good games.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what do you do then? What happens when like only like let's say 2-3 guns are viable, like, and you're just dying on spawn because a fucking helicopter is above you? Like, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we're talking in the context of you have a good game, and those guys can't leave their game because they're like socially invested in their game, right? Yeah. It's the same reason people play Brawl for fucking 8 years, right? They knew 3-4 years in it was a bad game.
Yeah,
many of them did, but they're trapped now.
Yeah,
right. Why do you guys ever see the Flat Earth documentary?
No,
where like they sort of kind of stopped believing it after a while. Yeah, but now they're like famous in the Flat Earth community, dude. They like have YouTube videos where say this is what they believe, and they can't just be like, actually, nah, dog.
This is how like, they make money.
They got Twitter followers now. Yeah, they got like Twitter followers, and they're making CPM on YouTube, bro. They can't just stop.
Yeah,
like they know it's not true.
Oh shit.
It's the same shit.
So,
but with shitty games.
Yeah. So I do agree with Leffen's argument that some content creators are in it on this side of the argument because they know that stomping on people, doing 360 no scope shots off a building, whatever it is, it gets them views, right? And they know the better players they play against, the less they're going to be able to do that kind of shit.
Yeah, and it's probably also more fun for them.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like, if you have if you have a game which, like, let's talk about checkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you ever follow checkers competitively doesn't exist anymore.
Right. It's
a
solved game.
They literally solved it, right? Like it's literally a guaranteed draw. There's a guy who's literally drawn every game of his life, like the best player of all time. Like he ended the game. He was just like, you literally cannot not draw me. You know, I will draw it every time because it's not that complex a game, right?
Yeah.
But checkers, I played it with Vish at a hotel and we were drunk as shit. And it was hella fun.
Yeah.
We had a good time, dude.
Yeah.
Vish is nasty at checkers, dude. He actually bodied me.
Okay. But
some games are like that. And it's fine. What's wrong with that?
But wouldn't you say that you and Vish are... You don't think you guys are close in skill where you're both kind of trash? Or are you saying he was actually really good?
We were both kind of trash. I didn't do like that. Like,
so,
we were just both kind of trash, and he happened to be less drunk, I think.
Yeah. So you had a great time on some SBMM type shit. But I could, if Vish was actually a pro, then I could see him having like right now I'm playing Legends of Runeterra and I'm decent. I'm like pretty good. I'm like Masters level, and I have a lot of fun when I play someone in silver. Like I have a lot of fun beating them down because otherwise it's always a grind at the high levels, right? And I get that.
Sure.
But to say that I want the entire mode of gameplay to be just mostly running into shitty players, I have no enjoyment in that. I'm a sweaty gamer, dude. I get in Melee. I hate playing super casuals. Like at a tournament.
You bring up a good point. Card games, right? So I used to play Hearthstone a lot, right? And actually, the higher up I got, the less fun the game got in that particular game.
Okay.
Because it turned out to be like some decks counter some decks, right? You queue into people, and they're running a deck that just beats yours, right? And then it's all about like card drawing, what cards you draw. Like it's the amount of decision making is like very low at once you get to Legend and above. And then, but the lower levels, you can run some meme decks. And actually, if you look at Hearthstone streamers, like a lot of them, like go to those levels and run like the fun little stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's actually like you're able to do something.
Yeah.
But when it gets to the higher levels, it's like, well, I didn't draw the one card that matters in this matchup, and now I'm done. And this is the thing, like that just means you should stop playing the game. But some people don't have that choice.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean,
like if you get good to the point where the game is like not fun for you, unless you're like destroying bad people,
then it's not a good game.
Then it's just a bad game. And you should stop.
Which is what Leffen was saying.
Yeah, he's right, but like he's acting like that's the end of it for these people.
Oh, like they should be okay with that and just move on or something?
Yeah, this guy's like the guy he's talking to, for example, has been a Call of Duty content creator for like a decade.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's not going to leave.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's good versions of Call of Duty, right? And then there's other times where they fucking patch the game and it's not a good version of Call of Duty, right? League of Legends just added a champion to the game, Samira. I don't know if anyone here plays League. The character's broken. It's insane. And it was like my first like coming to terms with like trying to play a game like and grind and sweat it with like an insane patch. And it happened and I was just like it literally killed all 5 of us 1v5. Like I was just like we couldn't do anything. It's insane. And this happens in their games. So they have to deal with it.
And how'd you feel about it? Did you hate the game at that point?
I hope they didn't pick it next time. Yeah. Right, my next match. That's all you can do, right? Like that's it. It was. Yeah. It's just like, well, in like 2 weeks it'll probably be patched, so it's not. You know, whatever. You don't just stop playing the game for the most part because you're invested.
Yeah, I get it. I was just hoping, Blur, that when I got into this, that there would be a real argument that I just didn't understand. But it sounds like the only argument is either self-serving or it's just something I just fundamentally disagree with. That a try-hard game is just way worse. And it isn't. It could be draining, but it could also be fun to overcome it. Like, I just don't see how it's mostly the high-profile players and the top players that are complaining about it.
But I think it's a good ecosystem conversation, especially for Melee players who are about to add rank to their game.
Yeah, thanks, Halt.
Right? Like, this is actually important for us, like, right now.
Okay.
Because does rank actually grow your game? And actually, that really matters to us because we control our game's growth, whereas most people, like, most communities don't.
I think it would. Why wouldn't it? If you have a casual and ranked...
makes sense to me.
Sorry, friendlies.
I think because Melee doesn't have non-sweaty mode, like, literally, like, it's impossible, it probably won't matter very much. But I think, like, it's mostly going to serve the people who are already playing. I don't think, like, ranked mode's going to help new players get in as much as we think. You know?
I think... Okay, maybe. I think it'll help with, like, in terms of, like, viewership. Like, there's going to be content around it. I think new players will be... like, it'll be a refreshing change. They might not, like, invest in it too much. Like, oh, I want to make silver so bad. Like, it's just... The people who are already playing it are going to be playing it, but then it'll get new eyes on when, like, I don't know, Zane does some, like, race to #1 in 24 hours kind of shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, they did that for Smash Ladder. Like, Ginger did that, and that didn't get that much viewership.
Oh, but that was back then, dude. That was, like...
You think it's new era?
Yeah. No. When Slippy came out, that was, like, what... Like, how many... You probably know the number. What, like, 30,000, 40,000 people on it? I don't know.
Dude, it's crazy. It's actually stupid.
Yeah, and like with the original like net play, that there was such a barrier of entry that it didn't have that much people involved in it. I think it'll mean something else right now. Especially, I think every one of the big players will be trying to pick that up right away as soon as it drops. Right.
I think the thing that could help the most is if they can make your ranked ranking help like filter for unranked matchmaking. You see what I'm saying?
So what do you mean?
So like if you are like a grandmaster or whatever, you're just not going to get matched up as often with like a bronze player, right?
Right.
Like in unranked.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is that then unranked is like what I worry about is if unranked like just no one does it anymore and everyone's just doing ranked, right? Like and it just becomes only people doing ranked, because I think the ladder anxiety and the pressure that's like legitimately been proven. Like that is.
Yeah,
it happened. I used to play I've been a part of the StarCraft community as well, like for a long time. Like that's 100% a thing. Like people stop playing games because they get pissed at their ladder ranking.
Yeah,
and they don't want to ruin it. Or like, you know, it's the end of the season and they're like, I just don't want to lose a game, bro. So I'm just not going to play.
Yeah, I believe that. Actually, so in the card game I play, the casual mode is also with skill based matchmaking. So they do that where I'm not, even if I go to the casual mode, I'm still playing people that are pretty good. It's just that's the place where people experiment with stupid shit. And I'm hoping that's what happens with Melee, where the casual mode, you're still playing pretty good people, but you get to try things, right? You get to try new edge guards. You get to try new approaches to certain matchups. And that'll be dope because...
And that's what people in chat are saying. Is like, oh, why not just do both? I agree. Yeah. That's what we're saying. We're saying, hopefully people do both. I hope that like one doesn't replace the other, and they're like it's smartly done, where it's like unranked is still like a legitimate like thing you can do.
Hell, I would even like to have like even a third option, which would be the connection based option, where then people can just blatantly stomp on people, right? Like there's one which is ranked where it's just try hard, and then there's one where it's like you're playing people of similar skill, but it's more experimental, right? There's not as much on the line because it's not ranked. And then you have the fuck it, you're playing whoever. So some guy might randomly run into Leffen and have a great time because they got to do that. Or, you know, pros could just stomp on people for the content. Cool, fine. And then everyone's happy. I think that would be the ideal.
I see what you're saying, but the more queues we add, like the more split everything gets and the longer queue times become, right? Like the more mode, you don't want to add too many modes, right? Because then there's just like let's say it's like 4 a.m. at night and there's not that many people playing. You're gonna start getting matched up in each of the modes with people with higher ping, and you don't want that, right?
Right.
So because it's just gonna try to find someone for you quickly, right? And so now you're gonna be playing higher ping matches on average, like so.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how
two. I think 2 modes is fine. I hope they also figure out a way like to make other characters, like your other characters have like its own rank or something, because like I would have a lot of fun ranking up my secondaries. Like I think that'd be a lot of fun, right? Like okay, like one day I want to play and learn a character, like cool. Like my other characters aren't as good. Like don't put me at my Marth's rank, right? Like this is not gonna be fun for me. I'm not gonna learn anything.
Yeah, right. Because Blur's Marth is so good, such a high SBMM rating that
it's so good.
Yeah. I get it.
Makes sense.
All right. So so devil's advocate argument, just to make sure I get it, was that God damn it, I already forgot it. It's already out of my head. How fake that argument was.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, I don't even believe it. I think it's still good for you, for both the community and all the players. I don't agree with it overall. I think skill-based matchmaking is dope.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna make the argument, it would be that argument, which is like, hey, it might not be good for the game's growth.
Yeah.
Because there are cases in history where that's been true, and people don't like losing.
Yeah.
People don't like losing.
There's a part of you. There's a part of gaming that has to appeal to the opposite of sweaters. It's the shitters who just want to have a good time and they don't want to feel pressured to do better in order to play the game.
Yeah.
There's a balance that has to happen. I just feel like, I don't know if you saw Hitch's like analogy where he says like you could hop into a pickup game of basketball at the YMCA and you'll have fun no matter who's playing. I don't think that's true. You know, you could end up in a game with
LeBron's playing
and Paul George. You're not going to have a good time. You're not going to play the game, right?
Dude,
but
I am not tall enough. Like literally, I would just not get a rebound. I would literally never get the ball in my hands because they get every rebound. They scored in. Like, what would I do? I'd just be like a cone, like a traffic cone, you know? Like
it wouldn't be shit, right? But then it also fails on the other side of it where. You know, those people that walk into the YMCA to have a pickup game, I don't think they'd have a bad time with other shitty players either. I think they'd have a good game too. Right? So, like, I have trouble seeing the problem with SBMM at the lowest levels. I think the time where your argument makes some sense, not your argument, you know, your devil's advocate argument, is at the mid levels. It's at the levels where they're mid to high. They're kind of creeping up on being good.
That's exactly what tends to happen.
The platinum and gold levels.
It's usually really good for people who are insanely good and who want to like show their skill off and like okay, cool. Like they feel proud that they're like challenger in league or whatever, right? And it's usually really good for like super newbie players because now they finally get to match up with other super noobs. So like they get to do something, right? And they get to like learn the basics of the game. But for the people who've been playing for a while and are stuck, it just kind of keeps like it usually isn't the best experience for them. That's what like time has shown in terms of gaming. I think those people should keep playing because it's not okay. It's okay to be gold, even if it means you're gold for 5 years. Like you're having fun, aren't you? Like shit, bro. It's fine.
That's hard for people.
But pride gets in the way. You know, I get it. Like you put thousands of hours into something, you're still not good. Like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all.
Yeah, and someone like Leffen's never going to understand that. Leffen is the prime example.
Has he been bad at anything?
I don't think so. And then not only that, I think he just has like a deep hatred of people that are willingly bad at other things.
I think he has a deep hatred for a lot of things, but like in general, there's a little bit of you could have just stopped your sentence early. The deep hatred for people who are just bad. Yeah. Period. Right? Like I don't have that hatred because in some games I'm disgustingly good, in some games I'm disgustingly bad. And so like I feel like you got to have a little bit of empathy there and understand that
people can be bad at games.
People can be bad at games, and it's not like a criticism of their character, right? Like they're good at other things probably, bro. Like Dude, it's not that big a deal.
I need to find a game that Leffen's bad at. But would he stay bad? That's the problem. I don't think he would.
I don't know. Like I'm not sure. But there's got to be one, right? Like, and even if it's not that, it's not gaming. Like, he's not going to be good at astrophysics.
Yeah, you know, he's probably so shit at basketball. That's why no one has seen it yet. I hope he is.
Yeah, he's probably really shitty at basketball. But good for him. Good for him that he's exercising.
But do you think? I hope he ends up really good at it though. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be funny if he just ends up in the NBA. They put him in undrafted. Yeah. They're like, oh, damn, this dude in Sweden, he just grinded his ass off. What the fuck?
Yeah, but I haven't seen a picture of him in a while. Is he just like shredded? Like his shoulders are broader and like he's just buff as hell now and he's just like really working on everything basketball related?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, that'd be so hilarious. It'd be so
like this guy can't be bad at anything.
He's just incapable of it. He's like... That's some bullshit, by the way. No one likes that person. I like Leffen, but no one likes a person who's not good at it. He's got to be bad at something.
I respect it, to be honest. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's dope. It's good.
But he's got to have some empathy, man. Just one time for the shitters in the world.
One time.
Who just want to have a good time. Yeah. But I get it. All right. Yo, thanks for that perspective. It's literally the only possible answer I could think of on this. So,
and it's a shitty answer. I want to say again and again, I don't even agree with it.
Yeah, no, that's getting cut from the YouTube, dude. This is just going to be your opinion. So
okay, sick.
Yeah, good luck with dealing with that. All right,
nice.
Later, dude.
Peace.
Later.
Peace. Bye.
I don't get it. All right, so that's the conclusion there. I just don't fucking get it. So either way, it's a fun thing to think about. Sub goal to argue with Leffen on Twitter. Thanks for the sub. Fuck no. Start real beef with Leffen. 100 subs. End my career.